Hello, welcome to Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. It's the Age of Sigmar Stats Center, where I, Rob, along with a chat, look, and, community members from around the world, look at the event results from the weekend. We look at the lists that did well, and we start talking about them. We also try very hard to feature the people, the armies, and other stuff from those events, and really try to build a community spirit around attending Age of Sigmar events the world over. So hopefully you really enjoy this video. Let me know. We have got this week only 3 events that we have covered, but that's because there were 2 major team events that happened over the weekend. So 2 major team events, which took up a ton of people, as well as a couple of other benchmark events coming up in different places around the world. So, while the numbers seem a little bit low in this situation, there were actually 2 other massive team events. The reason I don't necessarily cover team events, although, I'm about to cover the Age of Sigmar North American Masters from America. I'll be traveling over to the US for the North American Masters. I'll be doing another video about that separately. You'll be able to find out where that is a huge team event, which I'll be live streaming from, so you'll be able to check out that. Same as I did the Age of Sigmar World Team Championships, so you'll be able to see all that. But when we're looking at the stats, the event results from the weekend, the reason I don't really do team events is because they generally tend to skew because you're doing matchups and pairings. Therefore, they're not consistent with what I would necessarily take to a singles event. Anyway, but I should still shout them out. Congratulations to all the players who played at those events, and I hope you had a great time, because Team Warhammer is pretty much the most fun Warhammer, and maybe we'll start to cover it in the future. Depends. I don't really know how to do it at the moment. Anyway, let's go look at our first event, which takes us over to Michigan for 68 people playing at the Michigan GT. Looking at the 5-0s, we've got 2 people in the 5-0 bracket. We've got Chris Teal with Lumineth Realm Lords, but not a Sentinel, so don't click off the video. And then John Harris of the Midwest Monarchs with their Nighthorn army. The Lumineth Realm Lords list was the Alarith Temple using the Manifestation Lord, the Morby Kunj, as it's affectionately known. The General's Regiment was Avlanor with a reinforced unit of Alarith Stone Guard. Then it was an Alarith Stone Mage and 2 units of Alarith Stone Guard, 1 reinforced, 1 not. And then Elania and Elathor, the Eclipsean War Sages. And then Venari Orulan Sentinels and a unit of Dawn Riders in this list. So you've got a very, very tough units being able to hold objectives in the Stone Guard, and looking, and thank you to Swaggy in the chat who just told me about the different missions. There was lots of objective-based gaming. Like, the missions had lots of objectives on at this specific event. Therefore, having lots of bodies that are good at holding objectives in this situation was better than maybe having units that could pop around the board, like something like Sentinels. Not Sentinels, sorry, the Foxes. But either way, very solid and very difficult army. And then there is that unit of 20 Sentinels in there as well, which, as I've talked about, we need counter shoot being 2 CP, and we need to make it you can't get +1 to hit and +1 to wound from the into the General's Regiment. Now, I know a lot of people, they're not actually in the General's Regiment, but so it's just the CP issue. A lot of people on YouTube have said that they don't think that that's okay. Let me tell you, you're wrong. So it's really easy to back that up. John Harris is running Nighthorn in the Deathstalker's battle formation, right? And then his Manifestation Law is Morbid Conjuration. And then Lady Alinda is the general with a reinforced unit of Bladegeist Revenants ×2, 2 units of Dreadblade Harrows, then Arak the Drowner, a unit of Dreadscythe Harridans, a reinforced unit of Hexwraiths, and the Lord Executioner. These are going to get a massive smack in the balance update. Massive smack. But until then, John Harris, excellent work, and you should be really proud of yourself. Looking at the 4-1 section, we have 4 in a draw, Josh Bradford with his Nighthorn, Paul Hinderman with Nighthorn, Christopher Grott with Slaves to Darkness, Luke Edinger with Nighthorn, Andrew Z. Zizik with Slaves to Darkness, Jake LeCoeur with Daughters of Khaine, Cameron Swanson with Disciples of Tzeentch, Rob Elliott with Slaves to Darkness, Devin Cortman with Soulblight Gravelords, Jack Carwood with Daughters of Khaine, Dan Sasala with Stormcast Eternals. And I agree with you. I read Nighthorn out a lot there. I did. But I also read out other factions as well. Soulblight Gravelord, Daughters of Khaine, Stormcast Eternals. At this point in the edition, and it's a point I've been making all through, this early part of Age of Sigmar 4. Yes, Nighthorn are too good. They need a balance update pretty significantly. And some of their armies are doing really badly, and they also need a balance updates to help them out. But let's ignore that part of the story, because it's done. Conversation, we've locked the door on that part of the conversation because it's done and we've had it. And let's focus on the fact that there are other armies which are also doing well. And when Nighthaunt get their hopeful change and pretty massive change, what other armies could start to emerge as something we're going to see? And also, what trends are we seeing and why they might be good? So let's go have a little look at it. Okay, so let's look at the 4-1 list. 4 in a draw, Nighthaunt, Joshua Bradford. He was running the Morby Kunj in the Deathstalkers battle formation with Alrak, some Bladegeist Revenants, some Hexwraiths, all reinforced, then Reichner the Grimhailer, and some Mimron Banshees. Please nerf. Paul Hinderman was running Nighthaunt in Deathstalkers with the Manifestation Lord Morbid Conjuration, with a Krulgas Cruciator, 2 units of Bladegeist Revenants have been reinforced, Mimron Banshees and Spirit Host, Reichner the Grimhailer, a reinforced unit of Dreadblade Harrows, which is different. A unit of Hexwraiths, Lord Executioner. Please nerf. Okay. So then Christopher Gropp was running Slaves of Darkness in the God's Wrath Warband, Manifestation Law, Twilight Sorceries. Let's go, Chris. He was running the General's Regiment, Be'lakor, Darkmaster, best war scroll in the game, and the Raptorix. Do you know what? I reckon the Warpseer, the Vermin Lord Warpseer is close to Be'lakor levels of good. Just going to say it. Not as good. Not as good. Be'lakor, still so much better. A unit of Raptorix. Then the Demon Prince, Chaos Spawn, reinforced unit of Varangard, reinforced unit of Varangard with the Mark of Khorne. And then he took Regiments of Renown, Fulgoth Shudderhood, which we covered in a video earlier on. They're just incredibly difficult to deal with. They're -1 to hit. They've got a really good armor save. There's loads of wounds. They're a little bit faster. Absolutely rock solid as a choice. Very nice and very different. Christopher Gropp out there, just like changing hearts and minds. Okay. Luke Edinger was running Nighthaunt in Deathstalkers with the Morbid Conjuration. Took Lady Alinda, 2 reinforced unit of Bladegeist Revenants, unit of Hexwraiths, unit of Mimron Banshees, Right Northern Grimhailer, Chaingas, and 2 Dreadblade Harrows. And then he had Lord Executioner, Rule the Spectral Hosts, a Lord Executioner. Whew, please nerf. Okay. Then Andrew Zizazig was running Slaves of Darkness, God's Wrath Warband, the Manifestation Lord Cronspine Incarnate. Then he was running Be'lakor, the Dark Master, best war scroll, Chaos Furies, a unit of Chaos Knights, all in the General's Regiment, how bold, with the Mark of Khorne, 2 reinforced units of Varangard with the Mark of Khorne. He did pick up where to take out those 2 units of 6 Varangard with the Mark of Khorne. He found the list written in crayon and a napkin in a Chuck E. Cheese because a 6-year-old had read the list. Listen, I'm only cussing out. I'm not cussing out Andrew specifically, just all Slaves of Darkness players, okay? That's what I'm doing. Andrew's the best. Andrew, you rock, homie. And if you think I'm a prick, I apologize. Hopefully you found that funny. Jake LeCure, great guy. Running Morathi Khaine and Daughters of Khaine in the Scath Coven battle formation. He was running Morathi as a general, a unit of 10 Bloodstalkers, 2 units of Heartrenders, and then a Melisay Iron Scale and 2 units of Blood Sisters, okay, in this list with Morbid Conjuration. Really fun. Jake's been a long time Daughters of Khaine player and only dropped 1 game in here. I think that they've got some real good options, especially for those 2 units of Heartrenders for just grabbing battle tactics and doing that. But, Daughters of Khaine, a little bit worse because most of the rules that we've seen for Age of Sigmar 4 are really just kind of copy and paste crossovers from Age of Sigmar 3 with how armies work. And the reason this army was able to do so well in Age of Sigmar 3 was because it was uniquely able to shoot twice. Now, everyone can shoot twice. They're just better than this unit. So, well done to Jake. Cameron Swanson was running Disciples Zinch in the Weird Flame Host. A little bit of a shock. I've covered this in other episodes before, but Disciples of Zinch actually doing well at events and doing well consistently with multiple different people at different scale GTs is actually pretty cool, and I think a lot of people are excited about it. Anyway, Weird Flame Host battle formation, Manifestation Law, the Morby Kunj, as is tradition. And then he had Kairos Fateweaver, Changecaster, Chaos Spawner Zinch, need it for the spell law, and a reinforced unit of Flamers, absolutely shocked at how popular they are. A Lord of Change, and then 2 reinforced unit of Blue Horrors and a reinforced unit of Pink Horrors. Listen, for a tournament where you were looking to hold objectives, those Pink Horrors and Blue Horrors, which I covered in the Zinch review, are basically immortal. And with the Lord of Change being able to bring half the unit size back, they're double immortal. So it's just wild. And then you're getting all of the output from Kairos and the Flamers, as well as obviously the spell law. So congratulations to Cameron. Then Rob Elliott, Slaves of Darkness, God's Wrath Warband, and running the Manifestation Lord, the Morby Kunj, as is tradition. And then you have Be'lakor, the Dark Master, a unit of Chaos Furies, a Demon Prince, a reinforced unit of Chaos Chosen with the Mark of Khorne, Raptorix, and a reinforced unit of Varangard with the Mark of Khorne. congratulations, all fight all the time. I did talk about this off screen, so if you're watching this through as a video, I said that all fight twice ability should be removed from the game. Please do leave your incorrect reasons as to why that shouldn't happen down below. But just know that that's something I've been discussing for about 7 years. So make sure you come correct with your opinion, which will be wrong. And then we're going to go and look at Devin Cortman, who was running Soulblight Gravelords. In my opinion, when all of the top armies get hammered, I think Devin Cortman and his Soulblight Gravelords army, and all Soulblight Gravelords army, is going to jump to the top. Okay. Anyway, Law of Undeath, he was running the Death Stench Drove, and he was Manifestation Law was the Aetherwrought Machineries. Then he had Manfred, a unit of Black Knights, a Necromancer, 2 units of Direwolves, and a unit of Fellbats, and then Torgillis, auto-include, if you're in a Soulblight Gravelords, because activates that battle trait twice, unit of Direwolves, 2 reinforced units of Graveguard, looking for all the smash. So lots of chaff for grabbing objectives, and lots of smash with Manfred. Chaff and smash, my new favorite list. Then Dan Sasala was running Stormcast Eternals. Really hard to write a good Stormcast list, I think. Running Sacrosanct Convocation as the battle formation. His Manifestation Law, as his tradition, was the Morbid Conjuration. Running Krondis, as his tradition. 2 units of Prosecutors, a reinforced unit of Vanguard Raptors, Langstrike Crossbows, and a unit of Vigilance. Then Lord Arcanum on Griff Charger, and then a reinforced unit of Evocators on Celestial Dracolines, which is nice to see in there as well. Who just shout out to my friend Collie, who will love that they're there. That's great. Krondis is good because he's a 2-cast wizard. I think that's the point of Krondis, as well as being good at fighting and all those other things. Being able to make a unit 1d6 charge, very, very effective. Prosecutors are fast for doing tactics. Vanguard Raptors, obviously, with the way shooting is working right now, super broke. Not broke, but like strong. Obviously, for 340 points, there's nothing that's going to do that volume of damage in your turn and your opponent's turn. +1 to hit, +1 to wound. So internally, it's competing in the book with everything else as in slot, and its ability to project power at range, which is pretty significant, is very high versus other units that just need to move across the board and fight, especially if you've got some pretty slow infantry in the game. And then that is it. That is absolutely it for the Michigan GT. Shout out to the Michigan GT. We do have some stats, actually, that's worth looking at. So we're talking about September. Just going to talk about that for a moment. During September, Nighthaunt obviously doing really well, but as we've covered on the stat show for the past couple of weeks now, they're actually not the army doing the best. There's only a percentage point in it, but Lumineth Realm Lords are actually the issue, as you can see at the top, 61%. Nighthaunt are also the issue, but LRL making significant waves now as people realizing just how good they are, and also importantly, very good into Nighthaunt. Very, very excellent into Nighthaunt. They've got an amazing shooting unit. They've got great spell lore. They've got very fast, very mobile units. And importantly, they can dish out a lot of dice. So that's important. Lumineth and Nighthaunt doing really well in September. Slaves to Darkness also doing excellently. Then Gits doing really well. All those Rock Guts, but not doing too well. And then you've got Hedonites, Daughters of Khaine, and KO all doing excellently. Armies doing badly. Deepkin, Ironjaws, Nurgle. We have seen Nurgle do well at an event, though. We've also seen Ironjaws do okay at an event, and Deepkin do okay at an event, but that win rate will definitely make you feel a little bit sad. Blades of Corn, Flesh Eater Court, Sons of Behemoth, and Skaven. As to Skaven, I think their win rate will improve now all of their new minis are out, and you're able to use some of those extra rules. So that's what I think you're going to see from that. And then if you're looking at 3+ wins, which is like an Honest Wargamer metric, you'll see that Nighthaunt and Lumineth Realm Lords have got a 62% chance to give you a positive win rate at an event. So go to a 5-round event, you want to win 3 games, you want to take Nighthaunt and Lumineth Realm Lords. When you compare this and add this to the meta stats, which is how many people are taking these armies, because they're taking a lot of both, this means that they're extra overpowered versus other armies. For instance, like Bone Splitters you can see up there, or, Beast of Chaos as an example. Those are armies which don't have many players. Daughters of Khaine is a good example. They don't have a lot of players, but they're doing okay, which means those players who are playing really well. When you have a larger pool of players, like you do in Nighthaunt and Lumineth Realm Lords, the skill average is slightly lower. There's an argument that it's actually fairly high because like players that want to win events will pick the good armies, and therefore the skill cap might be higher, but I don't think that's how it actually works out. So I think the skill the skill base is like diluted out and it's broader. So the fact that they're popular and doing well means they're really overpowered, which is kind of fun. But hopefully we're going to get a balance update to fix that out. And knowing your enemy means you can defeat your enemy. Not most of the time, though, but you can try, which is important. One thing I did want to shout out, though, about the Michigan GT is I wanted to show off some of the fun pictures from the event as well. Especially shout out to Jay the Hurricane for providing the pictures. And you can see here, this is the army that won Coolest Army or like Best on Show or whatever it might be. Cronshrooms grow in many places, in squishy trunks or on the ground, when angry cronshrooms can be found growing out of a gargant's faces. But my favourite place to hear behold the cronshroom in all her glory is when she grows all dank and hoary out of a gargant's booty holes. So this is the army that were best at the event, and it is truly brilliant, with mushrooms pouring out of gargants, the whole board. America love a display board, you can see here, and there you can see the shroom spine at the back of the board, which is cool. This is so fun, wicked army, really cute, very whimsical. Congratulations. And I want to thank Jay the Hurricane for taking the pictures and showing us a super cool army. And I want to thank Greg Purcell for putting a cool army together and inspiring all of us. Loads of love. Do you know what? In fact, I'm not going to stop this train of showing you great minis. What I'm going to show you is Salzveth in the chat, who was also at the Michigan GT, won Best Display. The Stormcast list we read out that went 4-1, absolutely cute pie. He also won Best Display, and I'm not surprised. Look at this. This is absolutely fantastic. There's a cool backdrop. There's like the Stormcast being struck down. All the prosecutors look great. There's loads of OSL. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. A beautiful scene there. So congratulations to Salzveth for putting just so good. Oh, and we've got little rats at the bottom. Oh my goodness me. Little rattos that are really well painted. That's super fun. And a cool Crondis as well. All right, amazing work. Congratulations to you. And also everyone who puts their armies together. If you ever build and paint an army and take it to an event, whether or not it looks this amazing, you're in like a very small percentage of people who've ever achieved that goal. You should be proud of yourself, so well done. Our next event takes us over to Norway with 54 people battling it out the Invasion AOS 2024. Now, Invasion is part of like a multi-game system event where there's other game systems that happen at the same time. And it all took place at Sorlandets Trav Park, which fans here at The Honest Wargamer are a massive fan of. Here you can see some pictures from the Tiao Ula. Sorry, I've said that wrong. So there's a picture you can see. The terrain looks fantastic, which we love. So that's great energy. And then here you can see all the winners. Oh, sorry, I should also mention that at one point there was a fire alarm and everyone had to evacuate. So if you are ever losing your game of Age of Sigmar, just hit the big red fire alarm and just get everyone out. Go back and change everything around. Makes a lot of sense. Anyway, as you can see up here, here's all the awards being given out, which is great. There's Tom Berg, who also won Best Painted, or a lot of painting awards as well. And also volunteers at homeless shelters at the weekend. He's just all around great human. And if we go look at the event results, you can see, if we go look at the event results, you see in first place was Tom Berg with Daughters of Khaine. Daughters of Khaine, and also no Marathi in this list, running the Scath Coven battle formation. He had a Blood Rat Medusa and a unit of Blood Stalkers in the General's Regiment. Then Hag Queen of Cauldron of Blood led another regiment with 3 units of 5 Doomfire Warlocks, and then a Melisite Iron Scale leading 2 units of Blood Sisters with the Prayers of the Khainite Cult. Now, as it's being explained to me, because Tom's in the chat, it's all about the Doomfire Warlocks being able to use the Infinite Spell to make units run and charge. Blood Sisters then also able to use the ability that Daughters of Khaine have to be able to fight twice. So you're just hitting them with some massive damage with those Blood Sisters, and also Bloodstalkers getting to shoot twice because of the CP. So everything is just doing everything all of the time, which is pretty good. But still, I think a fairly fragile army, and he should be really proud of getting the 4-1. And then in the other, getting a 5-0, sorry. And then the other 5-0, Alexander Delane, great human being, was running Nighthaunt. And in his list, he took Sorry, the chat said I should do that. That's not true. I just decided it would be funny. Anyway, he was running Nighthorn in the Deathstalker's battle formation. He was running the Manifestation Lord, the Morby Conge, as is tradition. His general's regiment was Lady Alinda, with 2 units of Redblade Harrows, a reinforced unit of Hexwraiths, another reinforced unit of Hexwraiths, a Guardian of Souls, 2 reinforced units of Blade Geist Revenants. Is what he had. But congratulations to Alexander, you're the best. So looking at the 4-1s, we've got Tom Kenneth Solly with Gloomspite Gits, Morton, Soulblight Gravelords. Then we got Johannes Verdeld. And this is pretty good because this is building up the Verdeld dynasty. So there are now 4 active Verdeld family members in Age of Sigmar competitive scenes. You've obviously got Gear and Nut, right? And then you got Johannes and Olivier, who are sons of Nut, all of who play. So congratulations to Johannes with Slaves to Darkness. Yeah, the Verdel dynasty, exactly. And they got Danny Elfstead, love him, Disciples of Zinch. Oystenberg with Gloomspite Gits. Then you got Niels Lacorvium, first time, with Lumineth Realm Lords. Eric Nyhagen with Stormcast Eternals. Let's look at the list. Tom Kenneth Solly was running Gloomspite Gits in the Trog Herd, and his Manifestation Law was a Crunchspine Incarnate. His general was Scragrot with a reinforced unit of Rock Guts and a smaller unit of Rock Guts. Then Trug, a Dankhold Trog Boss, and 2 reinforced units of Rock Guts. So instead of just going all Rock Guts all the time, bringing in that Spell Edition with Scragrot, I've run something similar, and I like Scragrot in the list. He actually brings a lot to the army. Then you got Morton, and he's running Soulblight Gravelords in the Death March battle formation with the Morbid Conjuration, as is tradition in Soulblight Gravelords. Then he's got Nagash, a reinforced unit of Black Knights, reinforced unit of Black Knights, the Mortis Engine, Direwolves, and then Fellbats. Don't forget, Nagash is going to be able to bring an entire unit back from the dead, as well as give everyone a 5-up ward save, as well as auto-slay monsters and a bunch of other stuff. Just very, very effective. Unsurprised seeing Nagash do really well here from Morton. I'd be interested to know why he took the Mortis Engine, but I think that's a fun list, definitely. Johannes Verdeld was running Slaves to Darkness in the Godswrath Warband. He's got General's Regiment was Be'lakor with a Mindstealer Phalanx. That is interesting. With a Varangard unit Mark of Khorne. Then Chaos Sorcerer Lord. And then 2 units of Varangard. 1 reinforced, 1 not. 1 with the Mark of Nurgle. The reinforced one with the Mark of Nurgle. And the non-reinforced one with the Mark of Khorne. So the big reinforced unit of Varangard obviously meant to get stuck in and then pin the opponent in. Be difficult to get rid of as the other units go and hit, which I think is interesting. So then we got Danny Elfstead. Great human being. Just 11 out of 10 human being. Running Disciples Zinch in the Weird Flame host, using the Morbid Conjuration, as is tradition. His General's Regiment was Kairos, a unit of reinforced Skyfires, a smaller unit of Skyfires, then a Lord of Change, a reinforced unit of Skyfires, and then 2 units of smaller Skyfires. It turns out that just having really fast shooting units whip around the board, taking out key pieces and grabbing objectives is very effective, as well as all that spell bonuses that you get, as well as being able to just put those Morbid Conjuration spells down. So very, very cool. And Danny has performed incredibly well at multiple events in a very tough meta across years. So he's just a very top-end, very good player. Oystenberg was running Trogherd in Gloomspite Gits. He was running the Manifestation Law of the Aetherwrought Machineries. And that is really interesting because normally you'll always see the Dank Manifestations, which is their Manifestation Law, specifically because you've got the moon to be able to give yourself extra moonlight to make Trogs better. In this case, that wasn't the case. So his General's Regiment was the Dankhold Trog Boss, a reinforced unit of Rock Guts and 2 small units of Rock Guts, and then Trug, and then 2 Dankholds and another unit of Troggoths. And that is genuinely interesting because the Dankholds don't have a ward save. So it feels like you could subsume the cost. Like a Dankhold is just a worse version of 3 Troggoths, but he didn't take that and much better. Well, not much better, but he went 4-1, so you should be proud of that. Then Niels was running his Hurricane Temple Lumineth Realm Lords list. He was running tech lists, 20 Sentinels, 20 Wardens, and Severith, 2 Spirits of the Wind with a Morbid Conjuration. This is the most successful army in this month so far, and it's the Sentinels. We've seen Techless perform really well all the time. The Spirits of the Wind are just so active, along with Severith, for grabbing objectives, killing stuff, doing battle tactics. They're doing the 2 things. They are the best units, because they do the 2 things you want to do. They do battle tactics, and they grab objectives. They're super effective. And then lastly, you got Eric Nyhagen running Stormcast Eternals in the Sentinels of the Bleak Citadels using the Manifestations of the Storm. He had Lord Commander Bastian Karthlos with a reinforced unit of Raptors, Nar Arcanum, Annihilators with Meteoric Grandhammers, a Lord Relictor, a unit of Liberators, a reinforced unit of Prosecutors, and a reinforced unit of Reclusians. Now, this is the only person who I've seen also running Reclusians, the only person being Colin over in Northern Ireland. So I'm unsurprised to see, well, I am surprised to see them on the tabletop because I don't rate them at all. But it looks like Annihilators and Meteoric Grandhammers in here. This is a very off-meta build, as well as the Vanguard Raptors being very meta. But very, very interesting to see that play out and play really well. Anyway, that is the Wicked event in Sorlandas Trav Park. It'll be on every year. If you get the chance to go over to Norway and play, you should, because they're a great community. Our next event takes us over to the beautiful Montreal GT 2024, where 52 players battled it out in the beautiful Abyss Gaming Center, Boutique de Jeux, over in French Canada. This is actually a pretty nice gaming location because A, it looks massive. Next to it is a massagerie and also a fine diner. And then across the road is just a bunch of places to eat some food. So pretty good location if you are in Quebec and you want to go play some Warhammer there. So it's pretty fun. If we go and look at the event results, and it was organized by, shout out to George Hewitt. George, thanks very much for being a great member of your community and helping organize events. Right, so look at the placings. We can see in first place, we've got Justin Lapointe with his Slaves to Darkness and Mathieu Lauren with their Nighthorn. I'm probably going to get a lot of French names wrong, and I'm sorry. Justin was running Slaves to Darkness with the Legion of the Chaos battle formation. That is different. With the Twilight Sorceries, also, that is different as well as the Manifestation Law. However, that's where it stops, because it's Be'lakor, a unit of Chaos Furies, a reinforced unit of Varangard with a Mark of Khorne, a Chaos Sorcerer Lord, a unit of Chaos Chosen, and then a unit of Chaos Knights. Congratulations. Great armor saves, really fast, good combat, excellent work. Everyone's great. Great job. Then Mathieu Lauren that was running Nighthorn with Deathstalkers as his battle formation. His General's Regiment was Lady Alinda with a reinforced unit of Revenants. Lord Executioner, Rakenor the Grim Hailer, led another regiment with a Black Coach. Oh, with a Black Coach. Oh, really just goes to show you can put anything in a Nighthorn army and win. A unit of Bimron Banshees, Guardian Souls, reinforced unit of Blade Gas Revenants, Chain Gas, and some more Banshees. Congratulations to him and to both of those two players. They should be proud of themselves. Looking at the 4-1s, we can see Geordie LaRue was running Lumineth Realm Lords. Simon Glanowski was running Slaves to Darkness. Kevin Leclerc was running Skaven. Love that. Loic was running OCR Bone Reapers. Benjamin Dufy was running OCR Bone Reapers. Daniel Fortin was running OCR Bone Reapers. Alexis Boucher was running Karajan Overlords. I got through that, not well. I apologize to Benjamin specifically in that situation because I think I didn't do that right. And I don't think I opened this Skaven list, so let's have a look. Okay, so Daniel Forth was running OCR Bone Reapers with the Mortek Ballistari battle formation. We've seen this in Sweden already. His generals, he's running Horrors of the Necropolis Manifestation, and then his general's regiment was Catacross, a reinforced unit of Death Riders, a smaller unit of Death Riders, and 2 Crawlers, and then a Mortison Ossifector and a unit of Archai. And the last regiment, and that was it. And that's it. Pretty interesting. The Death Riders, I think they're moving up in popularity. Again, same thing that all cavalry have. Great armor save, super fast, able to engage and plus damage on the charge, with its Mortek Crawler list becoming super popular, especially with a list that was coming out of Sweden, and now obviously we've covered it on the stats show, and I think it's picking up popularity all around the world. Simon Glanowski was running Slaves to Darkness, Legion of Chaos, and then was running Twilight Sorceries with Be'lakor, Chaos Furies, reinforced unit of Varangard with the Mark of Khorne, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, reinforced Chosen with the Mark of Khorne, and unit Chaos Knights. They're good because they've got good armor saves. They fight twice. Kevin was running Skaven with the Virulent Procession Virulent Procession battle formation with the Morbid Conjuration Manifestation Law. Then General's Regiment was Thanquol Bone Ripper, a small unit of Storm Fiends and a reinforced unit of Jezzails. And then the Vermin Lord Deceiver, a small unit of Night Runners, and then a Grey Seer, and then 3 units of Plague Monks. Obviously, Plague Monks, when they die, they do damage back. But this is a pretty interesting list. I feel like this was a list written before the new battle tome. And in fact, because it's a Virulent Procession and that got FAQ'd recently, or it got updated, in the new battle tome. I actually think this is probably not even using the new battle tome at all. That's going to be my guess. So still waiting to see what new Skaven list look like coming out of the battle tome. Kevin, sorry, we just covered Kevin. Then Loic was running Ossiarch Bone Reapers in the Mortek Phalanx with the Horrors of the Necropolis. He had Nagash, a unit of Mortis Guard, a Mortis and Ossifector, a unit of Harbingers, and 2 Mortek Guard. 2 units of small Mortek Guard. So again, it's going to be Nagash and the full yeet. The Morgas Harbingers are 550 points of smash, hammer awesomeness. And when they finally die, Nagash brings the entire unit back from the dead. Everything else goes and grabs objectives. Nagash is more survivable thanks to the Immortus Guard. It's a very cool list. Then Benjamin was running Ossiarch Bone Reapers with the Mortals in Council. 3 different battle formations from 3 different Ossiarch lists. That's pretty cool. Again, running Horrors of the Necropolis with Catacross, an Immortus Guard, Arcan the Black, a reinforced unit of Death Riders, small unit, 2 small units of Death Riders, and then a Mortisan Soul Mason in there as well. So that's cool to see. They're all different as well. Arcan being different, Death Rider's still popular, but that's pretty fun. And then Geordie was running Lubeth Realm Lords in the Venari Battle Host. Sinari Caligrave was leading the General's Regiment. And the Manifestation Lord was a Crunspine Incarnate with 20 Wardens, 10 Wardens, and 10 Riverblades. And then the Lord Regent, and then 10 Dawn Riders, 10 Dawn Riders, and 5 Dawn Riders. And then the last list by Alex, he was running Kharadron Overlords in the Engineers Guild Expeditionary Force. His General's Regiment was an Arcanaut Admiral, an Arcanaut Frigate, a unit of Engine Riggers, Grunstock Grunhauler ×1, a reinforced unit of Thunderers, and then his next regiment was a Navigator, another Frigate, and then a unit of Thunderers, a small unit, and then a unit of Skywardens. And actually, looking at the stats, KO are not doing as bad as people predicted, being the worst army in the game. They've actually ended up in kind of a mid-table placement. And again, being able to shoot in your opponent's turn feels like it's going to be something very effective. Very, very effective. And that's it for the stats this week. That is it. Obviously, 2 big team events as well. One taking place in the Netherlands, where the Dutch live, and then another one taking place in Sweden. So I hope everyone had a really good time at those events. It's fair to say that a balance update at this point, I think, could be really good for the health of the game. Also, it might also be fair to say that some units are probably just going to be better because of internal balance than many other units for the course of the edition. Farangard are a really good example. Farangard are probably a unit that will always be better than anything else, or chosen than anything else you can take inside the Slaves to Darkness book, because they've got the opportunity to fight twice built into their war scroll, so you don't need to pay for it. Therefore, as a unit, they're always going to do more damage than the unit that can't. So why wouldn't you take it? Similarly, for shooting units in the game, you're going to find the best reinforceable shooting unit you can find in your army, and then you're probably going to make it shoot in your opponent's turn. Those are things that are going to happen. So the internal balance of armies is not going to be particularly broad over the course of the edition. I think that's a fair thing to say. And it's something we're already seeing pretty commonly. Now, how that works as like a meta for different armies battling against each other, I think once we start to see some of those big, overpowered armies which are way too efficient, I think we'll start to see maybe a more diverse build. But there are still people building some really interesting lists out there. Some of those regiments of renown being plugged into different armies are super popular, and I think that's really fun. So I think we're still going to see something a little bit more diverse after the balance patch. But it really depends on how aggressive they are, and if they're planned on just doing a balance patch to fix or help to try to fix the meta, or if they try to work out more internal balance issues. We'll cover that when it comes out, which we are predicting to be this week, but it might not be. So let me know what you think of the list and where you think the game's at right now. I'm always interested to know. But shout out to everyone at the events. Hope you had a good time. Thank you to the chat for making it fun. I'll see everyone next week.